Well, the fight over abortion access in Nebraska begins again 1 week into the new legislative session. Thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Cornell.
I'm Rob McCartney. State Senator Joni Albright says she will introduce two bills. One bans abortions once a heartbeat is detected. That happens at about 6 weeks. The other provides tax credits to donors of crisis pregnancy centers. And we have team coverage of the renewed debate. KETV News Watch 7's Bill Shammert's on the live desk with opposition to the bills.
First, though, Andrew Ozaki breaks down what the proposals will do in tonight's big story.
Joined by dozens of fellow state senators, Joni Albright believes she has the votes and the support of Nebraskans for her Nebraska Heartbeat Act.
A new statewide poll demonstrates that 58% of Nebraska voters support a law that would protect unborn children from the moment their heartbeat can be detected.
That would be about 6 weeks. Nebraska currently bans abortions after 20 weeks. The proposal also makes exceptions for rape, incest, and if a mother's life is in danger.
No woman who obtains or attempts to obtain an abortion may be held liable in any way under this bill.
And doctors won't face criminal or civil penalties.
Instead, an abortionist who violates the Heartbeat Act will have their medical license subject to discipline.
This Lincoln doctor says the bill also addresses any concerns about treating difficult pregnancies, in vitro fertilization, and care after miscarriage.
There is nothing in this bill that prevents me or any doctor from providing appropriate and necessary medical care to a pregnant woman.
Albright will also introduce a bill that offers up to $10 million a year in tax credits to people who donate to pregnancy help organizations like Assure in Omaha.
From cribs to diapers, we are there to provide the items that a baby needs.
Albright understands some pro-life advocates, including herself, are disappointed they aren't trying for a total ban.
The reality of it is we have to listen to Nebraskans. We have 85% of the babies will be saved with this 6-week ban.
In Lincoln, Andrew Ozaki, KETV News Watch 7.
Well, it would go.
Nebraska's ACLU says it will do everything it can to stop those bills. The statement goes on to say, quote, for many Nebraskans in need of abortion care, this ban would have the exact same effect as a total ban because many people do not know they're pregnant at this point when this proposed extreme restriction would take effect.
Now, the heartbeat bill would almost certainly have majority support in the unicameral, but the biggest question is, could it get super majority support? Bill Shammert's on the live desk with that. Bill?
Rob, there's a fine line in the nonpartisan legislature. 32 registered Republicans and 17 registered Democrats, and a bill needs 33 to break a filibuster. That means at least one person would have to cross party lines. But there are plenty of senators who will make it their mission that this doesn't pass.
Nebraskans know and medical professionals know that a 6-week ban is the same thing as a total ban. Most pregnant people don't even know that they're pregnant until after 6 weeks. So this really has the effect of a total ban, which is what we saw last year.
In fact, Senator Megan Hunt wants to take the idea of reproductive freedom to the voter. Today, she proposed a constitutional amendment. It says, in part, quote, all persons are by nature free and independent and have certain inherent and inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, reproductive freedom, the pursuit of happiness. Planned Parenthood, which has locations in Omaha and Lincoln, also came out immediately in opposition.
This is too far. These 49 senators have essentially been given more power over people's bodies by the Supreme Court than Nebraskans have themselves. And that does not work for Nebraskans. This is an independently minded state. They want the government to get out of their business, and this is no different.
In 2021, the most recent year for DHHS data, more than 2,300 abortions were performed in Nebraska. 86% of those were done at 6 weeks or later. Rob?